Hey guys, today we're going to make some chicken and dumplings. I like my chicken and dumplings with canned biscuits. I've had it with homemade dumplings, I've had it with store-bought dumplings, and that's just the way that I prefer to eat them, is with canned biscuits cut up in my chicken and dumplings. But today I thought I would try something different. I'm going to see how it will be if we make our chicken and dumplings out of Red Lobster's Cheddar Bay Biscuit mix. So we're going to see how that turns out. So let me show y'all how I make my chicken and dumplings, and then we'll try this twist and see how it turns out. The first thing I'm going to do for our chicken and dumplings is I'm going to go ahead and start our Cheddar Bay Biscuit mix, because I feel like it will be better if we can let it sit in the refrigerator while we put the rest of our chicken and dumplings together. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the mix from the box, and I'm going to add in the seasoning package from the box. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of melted butter. The box calls for 1/4 of a cup or something, but I'm only going to use 2 tablespoons because we're not going to pour it over the top of the biscuits. We're mixing it all in. So this is 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 1/2 cup of shredded cheese, and I'm going to add in 1 egg. So now we're going to start mixing this together to see how much water we need to add to this. Because Cheddar Bay Biscuit, when you make them as biscuits, the dough is very, very wet. And I just don't think that wet dough will be very good in chicken and dumplings. So I'm going to try to make my dough a little bit more stiff. So I have 1/2 cup of water here, and I'm just going to add a little bit until it starts coming together as a dough. Okay, I think this looks good to me. If you can see how thick that dough is. And so we'll be able to kind of pick off little pieces. It's not as wet as normal Cheddar Bay Biscuit dough. So I ended up only using about 1/4 of a cup of my water. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover this and put this in the refrigerator and let it rest and let it chill, and then we'll be able to break off pieces to put in our chicken and dumplings. Hey guys. Okay, we're back. I have a helper in the kitchen. My son Aaron's gonna help me make my chicken and dumplings. So the first thing we're gonna do is get a big stock pot. I have my big Lodge enameled cast iron pot on the stove. This thing is like 7.5 quarts. You don't need one that big, but that's what I have. So we're going to add some oil to our pan. I know. Good job. All right, and then I'm going to add a little bit of butter to that as well. All right, I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter to that, and we're going to let that get heated up. And what I've done here, if you can see, I have onions, carrots, and celery. Just a second. I have onions, carrots, and celery in here. I have about 1 pound of carrots that I peeled and sliced up into little pieces so that they'll cook faster. I have about 3 small stalks of celery. I'm not a huge fan of celery, so I don't use a lot of it. And then I have 1/2 of a purple onion, which is what I had in my refrigerator. And then a whole yellow sweet onion, but it was a really, really small onion. So probably 1 large onion is what I've got in here total, plus my pound of carrots chopped small and my few stalks of celery chopped up. So Aaron's going to dump that into our pot. Good job, Aaron. All right, so we are going to saute that in our butter and olive oil until it starts getting soft. Now, I'm using a rotisserie chicken. I shredded up and chopped up some chicken off of 1.5 rotisserie chickens. So this is about 4 to 5 cups of chicken. Now, if you want to cook your own chicken, I would do that. I would do that first before you do this step. Season up your chicken. I would do like boneless, skinless breast or thighs. Season it up. Cook it in here. Brown it on both sides. Then take it out and chop it up. Then start cooking this. Then go to this step if you wanted to cook your chicken. That's how I would do it. That's how I normally do it. I prefer doing it that way than boiling my chicken. I would rather just saute it and brown it on both sides. It doesn't have to be cooked all the way through. Then I chop it up in bite-sized pieces. When we get the stock in here, the chicken stock in here, we will be able to put that chicken back in and let it finish cooking in the chicken stock. So we are going to go ahead and be working on softening up these vegetables, which should take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to work on that and then we'll check back. Okay, this has been going for about 5 or 6 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and start adding in some of our seasonings. So I'm going to add in, now a lot of this is just going to be to personal preference. I will try to measure out, guesstimate what I do and put it in the recipe in the description below. But for now, we're just going to eyeball it. I'm putting in some poultry seasoning. And that's probably about a tablespoon, about 2 teaspoons to 1 tablespoon of that. I'm going to put in some thyme. I know we're sprinkling in our seasoning. We've got about a tablespoon of thyme. I'm going to put in some pepper. I know Mama putting in the sprinkles, the seasonings, we're sprinkling in the seasonings. All right, and then I'm going to put in just a little bit of salt because our broth is going to have a lot of salt in it. All right, you want to do the salt? Yeah, you do the salt. Come on, here you go. There you go. All right. So now we're going to stir those around and get those vegetables coated with all that seasoning. And now we're going to put in, I'm starting out with 4 cups of broth. We may have to add more, but we're just going to see how much 4 cups is in the pot. And I did not buy, I forgot to buy chicken broth at the store. So what I did was I keep this chicken bouillon, powder bouillon in my cabinet. So I made broth according to the directions here, which is 1 teaspoon of bouillon to 1 cup of water. So that's what I have here, and we're going to pour that in. You want to do it? Be careful. Good job. All right. Stir that up. Does it smell good? Oh, I know it smells good. All right. Now we're going to dump in our chicken. We're going to dump in our chicken now. Like I said, this is about 4 to 5 cups of chopped cooked chicken that I took off of rotisserie chickens. We're going to put that in and see if we need to add any more broth. All right, stir all that in. Oh yeah, we're going to need more broth. So I'm going to go ahead and add in 2 more cups of broth, which will give us a total of 6 cups so far. All right, you're going to stir all that up? Let's stir it up. To that, I'm going to add a couple of bay leaves to that. I think I might add just a little bit more water just to have a little bit more broth in it. So this is about 3/4 to a cup more of water. So we are up to about 7 cups now. And what you may want to do at this point is taste your... You want to taste your broth at this point to see if you need to add any seasonings to make sure you have enough salt, because your chicken stock is going to be salty, so you do not want to over salt it. So I'm going to taste it and see how it is. Ooh! Oh, that is good. Oh, that is so good. Okay, so we are going to heat this up and let it start simmering, and I'm going to put a lid on it and let it simmer for a few minutes to get our vegetables tender, get our stock warmed up to get ready to drop our dumplings in. So I'm going to get this simmering and covered and let it go for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll check back. Okay guys, we're back with our chicken and dumplings. This has been simmering for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I have been allowing my carrots and my vegetables to get really soft, and that chicken to soak up some of those flavors of all the seasonings. So now my water is nice, and my broth and that's nice and simmering, which is what you want for your dumplings. So now I've taken my Cheddar Bay Biscuit mix we made up earlier and out of the refrigerator, and I'm just going to pick off little pieces and kind of, you know, roll them up. They don't have to be in a ball. You can drop them in with a spoon. My first time using this, so we're going to see how it turns out. So I'm just going to drop these in. And I want them kind of small because they are going to puff up. So I'm just going to kind of go and just drop them in all around the pot here.
Yummy.
Is it good, Aaron? Okay, so I have all my biscuit dough in here, and you can see they're already starting to puff up. We don't want to stir them around to make them fall apart, but I'm just going to kind of dip them down just a little bit to get in the broth so they can kind of cook a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of lightly push them down. Okay, and now I'm going to put the lid back on it and let them cook for just a few minutes. We'll see, we'll check back on them in about, 5 or 10 minutes. Okay guys, this has been cooking for about 10 or 15 minutes, just simmering with the lid on. Just about 2 minutes ago, I did stir it around because the dumplings were mostly done. So I did kind of stir it around just a little bit. So this is what we're looking like, if y'all can see that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fix our bowls, and then we'll do a taste test, and we'll find out how this turned out. So we'll be back in just a minute. Hey guys. Okay, we're back. We are going to do a taste test of our chicken and dumplings that we made we used Cheddar Bay Biscuit mix instead of canned biscuits that I normally do. So these are our bowls. You can see it is still very hot. Very hot to hold that bowl. But you can see the dumplings. Look at those big dumplings. But you can see how it is steaming. But you can see we didn't do flour or cornstarch slurry or anything like that. But the starch from the dumplings is, when you stir it around, you see how that sauce thickened up. Y'all, that bowl is too hot to hold. But that sauce thickened up, and it's giving you a really nice, thick gravy type consistency. It's really hot. So we are going to try to do a taste test without burning our mouths. So we're going to go in for the taste test. It's really, really, really hot. Okay, take a small bite, blow it off. Yeah. Oh, y'all. That is so good. I haven't had a bite of dumpling yet. Is it hot? Yeah, you might ought to wait a minute. And now I'm going to try a dumpling. I'm going to see how that turned out. Look, let me get you a piece of dumpling. Let you try a piece of dumpling. Blow it off, okay? What do you think of that? You like that? Ooh. That's good. That really gives it a nice flavor, you know, instead of just having the plain dumplings that, you know, most people put in it. It has a good flavor. It just melts in your mouth. Me adding the egg and less water to it helped hold it together, and putting them in the refrigerator helped keep them to hold together nicely. But they still have a melt in your mouth consistency when you eat them. So that turned out really good. I'm probably going to wish I had more dumplings in it. And the seasonings that we use just taste like, you know, a homemade chicken soup or a homemade chicken pot pie with the thyme and the poultry seasoning and those spices that we use, those seasonings and herbs that we used, just really, really makes it delicious to me and just makes it feel like a warm hug. So I hope y'all try this out. Let me know if you do. Did you like it? Do you want to tell them if you like it? I know you want to go eat in the living room. Do you want to tell them?
Yummy.
Another approval from Aaron. Another yummy approval. He's ready to go sit in the living room and eat supper. We have a bad habit of eating supper and watching TV. That's what we like to do. So I think we may do that and find something good on TV to watch and snuggle up with this warm hug in a bowl here. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.